On Volume 1 of Desperate for Internet Fame,
I regaled you with 3 people who ventured online to pursue their predestined meetings with internet fame. In order to embrace her, a steep price has to be paid in advance. A price fame is more than willing to accept. But she never keeps her end of the bargain, though. Over time, fame reveals her true form, a cruel, unforgiving mistress that manipulates the person's heartfelt desire into a tragedy for her own fiendish enjoyment. And when fame ultimately abandons these people, they are reduced to shells of their former selves, husks shifting through the ash and cinders of their dead aspirations, forever trying to recapture fame's fleeting radiance. Here are a few more pitiful souls left abandoned, condemned to forever aimlessly wander the internet's vast labyrinth. But before we do that, what's up, dudes? My name is OK Kyle, and welcome to the Internet X-Files. This first desolate sack of flesh and bone pictured before you here is a man by the name of Josh McCutcheon. And if you look close enough, you'll notice a very naive glimmer in his eyes that will soon dissipate over time. In the beginning, he was nothing more than a fledgling YouTuber trying to carve out his own unique identity in the already overpopulated internet sphere. According to the YouTube fossil record, Josh started off his YouTube journey around the ancient year of 2008. His primary form of content at the time were man-on-the-street kind of videos. You know what I'm talking about, right? He'd roam the streets of New York, shoving his unwashed microphone into people's faces and asking them stupid fucking innocuous questions. And sometimes creeping on women, all under the pretense of being funny. And just like the existence of Bigfoot, it's been a highly contested debate as to whether it existed in the first place amongst the scientific community. But it was here in these incipient videos that showed he would do anything as long as it got him some sort of attention or notoriety online. These videos were just a mere precursor for what we would witness in the not-so-distant future. Yet, despite starting out during YouTube's nascent years, his channel would stagnate and not see any form of growth during this time. Even though he wasn't gaining his desired traction, the yearning for fame lingered deep within his heart. It would be just a few more agonizing years until fame sang her mesmerizing song from behind the golden doors of opportunity, sending Josh on an endless quest to seek out her tender caress by any means necessary. By 2017, Josh moved from an East Coast metropolis populated with pompous assholes to a West Coast metropolis populated with bleached assholes, and with more plastic in their personality than the Great Barrier Reef, forcing a pleasant grin when their racist uncle comes over for Thanksgiving. Oh, and instead of living in an overpriced broom closet as most people do in Los Angeles, he lived in a van? So I guess somehow this makes him unique? I'm trying my damnedest to find something positive to say about this man. It's very fucking hard, okay? I'm like a bear shoving his big, fat, meaty paw into an empty beehive trying to find honey. And guess what? To my disappointment, there's no fucking honey to be found here. It was also around this time that Josh started dabbling in something called IRL streaming on Twitch. Do I have to explain what this is? It's streaming, but get this. The person goes outside doing mundane tasks.
Oh my God!
Wow. I get to watch you walk around Rodeo Drive buying overpriced t-shirts with your insufferable influencer friends? Dude, that sounds so fucking exciting to watch, doesn't it? There was also a very popular pastime viewers like to play at the expense of the streamers called stream sniping. It's a very tongue-in-cheek way of saying stalking and harassing the streamer in real time. It's like breaking strip club rules, but except for streamers. You can watch all you want, but never approach them in public with malicious intent, okay? Can we not do that? On the night of June 19th, 2017, a stream sniper by the name of Mexican Andy was out one night. enjoying the trashy ambiance of downtown LA in all of its immaculate glory. That was until he was accosted by a homeless man who then began asking him for money. This is possibly the most pathetic robbery ever recorded in human history. As the chat watched helplessly, one question crossed their minds as this event unfolded before their very eyes. Could anyone save this invertebrate from getting robbed in the most embarrassing way possible? And as if the heavens themselves were hearing this, they answered this question, sending an unlikely hero to save the day, and his name was Josh. Not all heroes wear capes, but they sure as shit wear some embarrassing fucking t-shirts. The following day, Josh engaged in some of his own stream sniping when he started prowling the streets of Los Angeles, looking for the notorious streamer Ice Poseidon. But then when he found him, Josh was politely told to fuck off because Ice was hanging out with some of his friends at the time. But then just a mere few hours later, a crisis occurred that only Josh could bring a swift resolution to. As Josh was woefully drinking away his problems at a local bar, Josh's chat alerted to him that Ice's equipment was on the verge of running low on power. Upon hearing this news, Josh stumbled off of his stool, rushing over to give Ice an extra battery pack he had on hand, so he could continue streaming. Josh was so nice that he even gave Ice and his friends a ride back to their home. And because of his selfless actions in such a short amount of time, Ice's fandom then proceeded to dub Josh as Burger Andy. And it was from here where the door of Josh's destiny opened to reveal the splendor of its golden allure, even if it was just a sliver of its fabled luster. Approximately 1 month later, after Josh and Ice first crossed paths like two ships in the night, Ice held a Stream Sniper Fear Factor competition in order to earn his favor and to enter his bus to hang out with him and some other popular streamers. Guided by false hope and desperation, Josh decided he would give it a chance by eating a worm on stream in order to impress Ice and to hopefully gain entry into this fabled bus of dudes. As he waited in line to gain entry, everything was in sight. The door of opportunity he had long desired for had finally opened before his very eyes. It was within his feeble sausage fingers' grasp. Destiny was calling his name. What could possibly go wrong here?
Dude, it's sketchy out here. I don't have to walk back through there.
I mean, why'd you come here?
I came here to see you guys. You said I could come with you.
The bus doors, both metaphorically and literally, slammed shut in front of his face. What you are seeing before you is the face of pure, unadulterated agony. From this point on, Josh's true nature began to surface, and it was one of appalling desperation. Gradually, he began spiraling further and further into the depths of cringe-inducing torment. He couldn't be stopped. His ambitions wouldn't be denied. Josh streamed himself every day, recording himself and his questionable actions, which include and are not limited to openly flirting with a woman who has a fairly evident mental disability.
Yeah? You want to go partying? Where do you live at? Close by? Oh, you live with your family though, right?
Yeah.
Stealing food from homeless dudes, as good people are known to do. Getting into fights with other streamers and burning all the fucking bridges he crossed in such a short amount of time. Oh yeah, there's also being a giant fucking asshole, being a creep towards women. Oh, and there's also having a mental breakdown after getting a haircut that resembled one half of Sesame Street's most iconic gay couple. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. Just own it. There were only so many problems that macing people could solve before the bullshit continued to pile high. Soon enough, Josh was left with nothing but the ashes of his dreams. But even they would soon abandon him when a brief wind carried them away, because they didn't want to associate with a pathetic dumbass like him. There was nothing sacred in Josh's myopic perspective, Every second of his life had to be streamed because someone out there might be watching. Yeah, people were watching, but for all of the wrong reasons. The only entertainment to be found when watching one of Josh's streams were the pitiful attempts of a grown man willing to do anything within his very limited willpower to be internet famous. Fame answered Josh's desires, reducing him to yet another disposable plaything. Just one of a million she's discarded over the years. She only had to give Josh just a fragment of her light, and this dipshit pursued it like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Josh's life can be best described as the Velvet Room from Persona 4, a vehicle driving through a vast, endless fog without a destination in sight. This last individual truly transcends scumfuckery. Even if he live-streamed himself committing seppuku as atonement, it still wouldn't be enough considering his recent transgressions. It gives me great displeasure to introduce to you this loathsome wretch of a human being. His online alias is Nicholas, but his real name is Nick Lee, and that's what we are going to be calling him. Upon searching the Internet Archives, I was able to find very little about who Nick was before. What I was able to uncover, though, told me that Nick was a bodybuilder and cosplayer who would appear at anime and nerd conventions around the country a few years ago. But these previous aspects of his life don't really matter considering how he's gained his recent notoriety. This story starts off on the night of July 12th, 2014. That night, while scrolling through Instagram, and by pure fucking chance, Nick landed on the page of a young businesswoman and cosplayer by the name of Caitlin Siragusa. After exchanging messages for a bit, true love planted her seeds and cultivated a blossoming romance between these two young people. Things were so good, in fact, that the following year, in the summer of 2015, they were eventually married. And as if life couldn't get any better, 2016 was the year that brought them unprecedented fortune. Around this time, Caitlin was getting noticed as a very talented costume designer and cosplayer. So Twitch requested that she join their platform, which she happily accepted, choosing the name Amaranth as her username. As the years passed, she gained increasing popularity on Twitch, gaining a staggering 6 million followers on the platform as of November 2022. She even created an OnlyFans account, and by her own admittance, was raking in a whopping $1.5 million a month. In other words, Amaranth's online trajectory was looking brighter than a white dwarf star about to explode. But on the night of October 15th, 2022, her life was forever changed. While streaming, Amaranth received a phone call from her husband, and unbeknownst to him, it was being recorded and viewed concurrently by thousands of people. As the phone call played out in real time before thousands of vicarious viewers, with each passing second and breath, they revealed Nick's true identity. An identity of a fucking grotesque monster masquerading as a human being. Fame enjoys watching people suffer, but it's normally by their own creation, not because someone else was the architect of their anguish. So, in a rare, sympathetic occurrence, Fame cast her luminous glow to reveal this domineering tyrant lurking in the shadows. As the stream continued, more shocking revelations revealed that everything about Amaranth's promiscuous online identity was entirely fabricated. Nick controlled every aspect of her online persona when the cameras were recording through fear tactics and raids off-screen. Nick was the sole progenitor of her online identity. Nothing was of her own volition except for joining Twitch in the first place. Everything else was a pristinely manicured facade for Nick to exploit at his own discretion. Amaranth was nothing more than a prisoner trapped behind a computer screen. Even when she was streaming, she was voiceless and couldn't scream for help, even though there were thousands of people watching at any given time. From her perspective, it must have been like screaming underwater. Nick wasn't necessarily pursuing fame, but rather its countless lucrative byproducts. So, through the combined power of his wife's TNA, manipulation, deception, and constant gaslighting, he was able to build an empire through Amaranth's torment and exploitation. The only hand he raised that did any form of work was the one that hovered just inches away from his so-called wife's face. Nick is truly a human worthy of everyone's collective condemnation and scorn. As fame's light chased away this phantom presence, Amaranth, mustering her willpower while fighting back a torrent of tears, revealed more of this worthless cunt-faced dreg's actions, and just how far one man was willing to go in order to preserve the lifestyle he had grown accustomed to. An electronic screed revealed the image of a frail, toxic man who was willing to do anything and everything to assure that the woman he called his wife stayed in line. Whether it be by hacking her Twitter accounts and going on a slander campaign, draining all of her bank accounts to leave her penniless, and or by killing her prize rescue horses? Wow. He just sounds like the most lovable individual, doesn't he? I think giving birth to a fully grown saguaro cactus from my asshole sounds like a more pleasant experience. Thankfully, the entire internet came together with an overwhelming sense of support for her turmoil. As of right now, Amaranth is currently trying to piece her life back together and is in the process of divorcing Nick. Nick is the epitome of scum fuckery, a repugnant, loathsome, cunt-faced bottom feeder who chose to exploit his wife for the nefarious purpose of gaining excessive wealth and maintaining it. If there was anyone more deserving of being hung from a tree like a fucking piñata and having a small group of children armed with baseball bats beat the fuck out of him, it's this man. What I have just told you are just two more tales of the many that dwell within the internet that I've discovered. With that being said, once again, my name is OK Kyle. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I will see you dudes in the next video. Adios, man.